Rain pounded the empty streets as Nathan Sinclair hurried home, his heart racing. The ominous envelope in his hands felt like it was burning a hole through his skin. Asterisk, what could the HOA possibly want now? Asterisk, he wondered, his palms sweating. Reaching his doorstep, Nathan fumbled with his keys, the sound of the lock clicking open like a gunshot in the eerie silence. He rushed inside, slamming the door behind him and flicking on the lights. The familiar surroundings of his modest home offered little comfort as he tore open the envelope, his eyes scanning the fine print. A $500 fine. Nathan gasped, his knees threatening to give out. For a fence asterisk. He had spent weeks carefully constructing that fence to provide some much-needed privacy from his nosy neighbors. How dare the Homeowners Association fine him for it? Rage boiling, Nathan stormed to his study, fingers flying across the keyboard as he accessed the HOA's website. There, in black and white, was the latest set of ridiculous regulations, all designed to maintain the neighborhood's pristine appearance and ensure conformity. Nathan clenched his jaw, his grip on the mouse tightening. Asterisk, this was war asterisk. Determined to fight back, Nathan began combing through the HOA's bylaws, searching for any loopholes or technicalities he could exploit. As the hours ticked by, his eyes grew heavy, but he refused to give in to exhaustion. Asterisk, there had to be a way to beat these power-hungry bullies at their own game. Asterisk. Suddenly, his phone buzzed with an incoming call. Glancing at the caller ID, Nathan felt his blood run cold. Asterisk, the mayor? Asterisk, what could the most powerful man in the city possibly want with him? Steeling himself, Nathan answered. Hello. Nathan, my boy. The mayor's booming voice thundered through the line. I heard about this nonsense with the HOA. Don't you worry, I am going to put a stop to it. Nathan blinked, stunned. But how did you know about that? Oh, I have my ways, the mayor chuckled. Now listen closely. That fence of yours? It was a gift from me, you see. We're working on a little project to beautify the neighborhood, and I handpicked that fence myself. Nathan's jaw dropped. A gift. From asterisk, you asterisk. That's right. So, you go ahead and tell those HOA vultures that they can't fine you. In fact, tell them to remove that fine immediately, or there will be consequences. I don't know what to say, Nathan stammered, his mind racing. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, but... No need for thanks, my friend, the mayor interrupted. Just consider it a favor between us. Now get some rest. You've got a big fight ahead of you. The line went dead, leaving Nathan staring at his phone in stunned silence. Asterisk, the mayor? Helping him. Asterisk, it seemed too good to be true. But as he glanced back at the HOA's website, a newfound determination ignited within him. Asterisk, go. It's on. Asterisk, Nathan growled, a sly grin spreading across his face. Asterisk, it's on. Asterisk. The next morning, Nathan marched into the HOA's office, the $500 fine in his hand. Behind the desk, the frosty-haired woman, known as HOA Karen, glared at him, her thin lips pursed in a disapproving frown. Mr. Sinclair, she said, her voice dripping with disdain. I assume you're here about the citation we issued. Yes, I am, Nathan replied, keeping his tone even. And I'm here to inform you that this fine is being rescinded. HOA Karen's eyes narrowed. Excuse me? On what grounds? Nathan placed the envelope on the desk, sliding it towards her. The fence was a gift from the mayor himself, as part of a neighborhood beautification project. You have no right to fine me for it. For a moment, HOA Karen was rendered speechless, her fingers trembling as she opened the envelope. Nathan watched, his heart pounding, as her eyes scanned the letter, a letter that bore the mayor's official seal. This can't be, she stammered, her face paling. The mayor would never. Oh, but he has, Nathan interrupted, leaning forward with a triumphant grin. And if you don't remove this fine immediately, I'm sure the mayor would be very interested to hear about your little power trip. HOA Karen's expression shifted from shock to pure fury. Her manicured nails dug into the desk as she glared at Nathan, her nostrils flaring. You think you can just waltz in here and... I can, Nathan said, his voice hardening. And if you try to fight me on this, I can guarantee it won't end well for you. The two locked eyes, the tension in the room thick enough to cut with a knife. Finally, HOA Karen let out a frustrated sigh and began typing furiously on her computer. The fine has been removed, she spat, her icy gaze never leaving Nathan's face. Consider yourself lucky Mr. Sinclair. Oh, I do, Nathan replied, his smile widening. Believe me, I do. With that, he turned on his heel and strode out of the office, feeling a sense of triumph surge through him. Ground, one to me he thought, his steps quickening as he made his way home. But as he walked, a nagging feeling of unease began to creep up his spine. Something wasn't right the mayor's sudden intervention, the HOA's swift acquiescence. It all seemed too easy. Reaching his front door, Nathan paused, his hand on the knob. What was the mayor's true motive and more importantly, what price would Nathan have to pay for his help? That evening, the Sinclair household was abuzz with activity as Nathan relayed the day's events to his wife, Emily, and their teenage daughter, Lily. The mayor was the one who gave you that fence? Emily exclaimed, her eyes wide with disbelief. And he just made the HOA drop the fine, just like that. Nathan nodded, his brow furrowed. That's exactly what happened. But I can't shake the feeling that there's more to it than that. Lily, who had been silently listening, spoke up. Maybe the mayor's trying to get on your good side for some reason. You know, like a political favor or something. Nathan considered his daughter's words, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. That's a good point. The mayor is up for re-election next year, and he knows I've been an active member of the community. Maybe he's trying to win me over. Emily frowned. But why would he choose this of all things to get involved in? I mean, it's just a silly fence fine, right? That's what worries me, Nathan admitted. The mayor doesn't usually get his hands dirty with petty HOA squabbles. There has to be something bigger at play here. Silence fell over the family as they each pondered the implications of the mayor's unexpected intervention. The sound of the rain drumming against the windows only added to the growing sense of unease. Finally, Lily spoke up again. Dad, you said the HOA backed down really quickly, right? Do you think they might be, scared of the mayor or something? Nathan's eyes widened as the realization hit him. Of course, the HOA knows they can't defy the mayor, especially not on something as trivial as a fence fine. They must have realized they couldn't win this one. Which means, Emily began, her voice trailing off. Which means the mayor has some serious leverage over them, Nathan finished, his heart sinking. And if he's willing to use that leverage to help then what else is he capable of? The family fell silent once more, the weight of the situation bearing down on them. Nathan's mind raced with questions, each one more unsettling than the last. What was the mayor's endgame? And how much was Nathan willing to risk to find out ? As the rain continued to fall, Nathan knew one thing for certain. The battle lines had been drawn, and he was now a pawn in a much larger game. The next few days passed in a tense blur for the Sinclair family. Nathan spent every waking moment poring over the HOA's bylaws, searching for any clues that might shed light on the mayor's true motives. Meanwhile, Emily and Lily kept a watchful eye on their surroundings, constantly on the lookout for any signs of trouble. One evening, as they were sitting down to dinner, the doorbell rang. Nathan, his nerves already frayed, nearly jumped out of his seat. "I'll get it," Lily offered, rising from the table. Moments later, she returned, her brow furrowed in confusion. "It's the mayor," she announced, her voice laced with uncertainty. Nathan and Emily exchanged a concerned glance before Nathan stood and made his way to the front door. There, on his doorstep, stood the imposing figure of the mayor, a warm smile plastered across his face. "Nathan, my friend," the mayor exclaimed, clasping Nathan's hand in a firm handshake. "I was in the neighborhood and thought I'd stop by to see how you're doing." Nathan swallowed hard, his mind racing. "Mayor, this is unexpected. Please come in." As the mayor stepped inside, Nathan couldn't help but notice the way his eyes seemed to dart around, taking in every detail of the modest home. The uneasy feeling in the pit of Nathan's stomach only grew stronger. "I hope you don't mind, but I wanted to follow up on our conversation the other day," the mayor said, settling into the living room chair. "I wanted to make sure there were no lingering issues with the HOA." No, it's all been taken care of," Nathan assured him, forcing a smile. "They removed the fine, just as you said they would." The mayor nodded, his expression unreadable. "Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. You know, Nathan, I truly believe in the importance of community. That's why I was so eager to help you with this little matter." Nathan nodded, his fingers drumming nervously on the arm of his chair. "Well, we certainly appreciate your intervention. But I have to admit, I'm a bit puzzled as to why you would go to such lengths for a simple fence fine." The mayor leaned forward, his eyes narrowing slightly. "Nathan, my boy, you've been a valuable member of this community for years. And as the mayor, it's my duty to look out for the people I serve." He paused, a knowing smile spreading across his face. "Besides, I have a vested interest in seeing this neighborhood thrive." Nathan felt a chill run down his spine. Asterisk of vested interest. Asterisk. The implication was clear, and it sent a wave of dread washing over him. "I see," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Well, you can rest assured that I'm committed to doing my part for the community as well." The mayor's smile widened, and he rose from his chair. "Excellent. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of each other in the days to come, Nathan." As the mayor made his way to the door, Nathan felt a growing sense of unease. He knew that the mayor's involvement was far from over, and the thought of being a pawn in his political games made Nathan's stomach turn. Whatever was to come, he knew he had to be ready. The battle lines had been drawn, and the stakes were higher than he could have ever imagined. In the days that followed the mayor's unexpected visit, the Sinclair household had become a fortress of sorts, with Nathan, Emily, and Lily constantly on high alert. The once idyllic neighborhood had taken on a sinister undertone, and the family found themselves constantly looking over their shoulders. Nathan spent countless hours poring over the HOA's records, searching for any signs of corruption or abuse of power. He was determined to uncover the truth, even if it meant putting his own family at risk. One evening, as the family sat down to a tense dinner, the doorbell rang once more. Lily volunteered to answer it, her expression tight with apprehension. When she returned, her face was pale and her hands were trembling. It's the HOA president," she announced, her voice barely above a whisper. Nathan and Emily exchanged a worried glance, and Nathan rose from his seat, steeling himself for the confrontation. Moments later, the imposing figure of HOA Karen strode into the living room. Her eyes narrowed, and her lips twisted into a scowl. "Mr. Sinclair," she said, her voice dripping with contempt, "we need to have a little chat." Nathan swallowed hard, his heart pounding in his chest. "What can I do for you, Karen?" "Well, it's come to our attention that you've been poking around in our business," she said, her gaze sweeping over the family. "And we don't appreciate it." Nathan felt a surge of defiance rise within him. "I'm simply trying to understand the rules and regulations of the HOA. As a homeowner, I have a right to that information. Karen's lips curled into a menacing smile. Oh, I'm sure you do. But you see, Mr. Sinclair, the rules and regulations of this HOA are our asterisk business, not yours. And we don't take kindly to nosy neighbors sticking their noses where they don't belong. Nathan's fingers clenched into fists at his sides. Are you threatening me, Karen? Not at all, she replied, her tone dripping with false sincerity. We're simply reminding you to mind your own business. After all, you wouldn't want anything unfortunate to happen to your lovely family, would you? The implication was clear, and Nathan felt a chill run down his spine. He glanced over at Emily and Lily, their faces etched with fear. Is that asterisk threat asterisk? He demanded, his voice trembling with barely contained rage. Karen's smile only widened. Of course not, Mr. Sinclair. We're simply looking out for the best interests of our community. Wouldn't want any asterisk accidents asterisk to happen, now would we? With that, she turned on her heel and strode out of the house, leaving the Sinclairs in a stunned and terrified silence. Nathan stood there, his mind racing. The HOA was in bed with the mayor, and they were willing to go to any lengths to protect their power. He knew he had to act, but the stakes had just been raised, and the risk to his family was greater than ever. In the days that followed the mayor's unexpected visit, the Sinclair household had become a fortress of sorts, with Nathan, Emily, and Lily constantly on high alert. The once idyllic neighborhood had taken on a sinister undertone, and the family found themselves constantly looking over their shoulders. Nathan spent countless hours poring over the HOA's records, searching for any signs of corruption or abuse of power. He was determined to uncover the truth, even if it meant putting his own family at risk. One evening, as the family sat down to a tense dinner, the doorbell rang once more. Lily volunteered to answer it, her expression tight with apprehension. When she returned, her face was pale and her hands were trembling. It's the HOA president," she announced, her voice barely above a whisper. Nathan and Emily exchanged a worried glance, and Nathan rose from his seat, steeling himself for the confrontation. Moments later, the imposing figure of HOA Karen strode into the living room. Her eyes narrowed and her lips twisted into a scowl. "Mr. Sinclair," she said, her voice dripping with contempt. "We need to have a little chat." Nathan swallowed hard, his heart pounding in his chest. "What can I do for you, Karen?" "Well, it's come to our attention that you've been poking around in our business," she said, her gaze sweeping over the family, "and we don't appreciate it." Nathan felt a surge of defiance rise within him. "I'm simply trying to understand the rules and regulations of the HOA. As a homeowner, I have a right to that information." Karen's lips curled into a menacing smile. "Oh, I'm sure you do. But you see, Mr. Sinclair, the rules and regulations of this HOA are our asterisk business, not yours. And we don't take kindly to nosy neighbors sticking their noses where they don't belong." Nathan's fingers clenched into fists at his sides. "Are you threatening me, Karen?" "Not at all," she replied, her tone dripping with false sincerity. "We're simply reminding you to mind your own business. After all, you wouldn't want anything unfortunate to happen to your lovely family, would you?" The implication was clear, and Nathan felt a chill run down his spine. He glanced over at Emily and Lily, their faces etched with fear. "Is that threat asterisk?" he demanded, his voice trembling with barely contained rage. Karen's smile only widened. "Of course not, Mr. Sinclair. We're simply looking out for the best interests of our community. Wouldn't want any accidents to happen, now would we?" With that, she turned on her heel and strode out of the house, leaving the Sinclairs in a stunned and terrified silence. Nathan stood there, his mind racing. The HOA was in bed with the mayor, and they were willing to go to any lengths to protect their power. He knew he had to act, but the stakes had just been raised, and the risk to his family was greater than ever. Over the next few days, the Sinclair family went into overdrive, executing their plan with the precision of a well-oiled machine. Nathan dove headfirst into the HOA's financial records, meticulously combing through every transaction and expense report. Meanwhile, Emily and Lily hit the streets, reaching out to their neighbors and rallying support for their crusade against the HOA's corruption. The once quiet community was abuzz with whispers and rumors, and the Sinclairs knew they were on the verge of something big. One evening, as Nathan sat at his desk, poring over the latest batch of documents, his phone suddenly rang. Glancing at the caller ID, his heart skipped a beat. "Mayor," he answered, his voice steady. "Nathan, my friend," the mayor's booming voice came through the line. "I've been hearing some interesting things about your little investigation." Nathan swallowed hard, his mind racing. "I'm not sure what you mean, sir." The mayor chuckled, the sound sending a chill down Nathan's spine. "Oh, come now, Nathan. You know exactly what I mean. This little crusade of yours against the HOA has got the whole city talking." Nathan's grip on the phone tightened. "I'm simply trying to understand how the HOA operates, Mayor. As a homeowner, I have a right to that information." Of course, the mayor replied, his tone dripping with false sincerity. "But you see, Nathan, the HOA is a delicate operation. It requires a certain level of discretion and cooperation to function properly." "Cooperation?" Nathan scoffed. "Is that what you call the threats and intimidation tactics the HOA has been using against my family?" The mayor's voice hardened. Now, let's not get carried away here. I'm simply trying to suggest that perhaps you're looking at this the wrong way. The HOA and I have the best interests of this community in mind, you see." Nathan felt a surge of anger rise within him. The best interests of the community? By manipulating and controlling the very people you're supposed to serve. "You're a smart man, Nathan," the mayor said, his voice infuriatingly calm. "Surely you can see the bigger picture here. This community needs order, stability, and the HOA is the key to maintaining that." Nathan's jaw clenched. "At the expense of the homeowners? I don't think so, Mayor." "Oh, well, you see, that's where you're wrong," the mayor replied, his voice dropping to a low, dangerous tone. "The homeowners are my constituents, Nathan. And I'm not about to let some rogue homeowner jeopardize the delicate balance we've worked so hard to maintain." Nathan's blood ran cold. "Are you threatening me?" "Threats, my dear friend?" The mayor chuckled. "Perish the thought. I'm simply offering you a friendly piece of advice. It would be in your best interest to back off. For the sake of your family, of course." Nathan's grip on the phone trembled as he fought to keep his composure. "I'm not backing down, Mayor. Not this time." "Well then," the mayor said, his voice laced with regret, "I suppose we're at an impasse. But remember, Nathan, I'm the one with the power here, and I'm not afraid to use it." The line went dead, leaving Nathan staring at the phone, his heart pounding in his chest. The stakes had been raised, and the battle lines had been drawn. It was time to take the fight to the next level. The following day, the Sinclair family gathered in the living room, their faces etched with determination. Nathan had filled them in on the details of his conversation with the mayor, and the atmosphere was tense. "So, the mayor's threatened us directly now," Emily said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We can't back down, not after all we've done." Nathan nodded, his expression grim. "Exactly. We've come too far to give up now. It's time to go public with what we've found." Lily spoke up, her eyes shining with resolve. "I've already reached out to some local news outlets. They're interested in covering the story, but they want solid evidence." Nathan's lips quirked into a small smile. "Well then, let's give them what they want." Over the next few hours, the family worked tirelessly, compiling a dossier of the HOA's financial irregularities, questionable contracts, and ties to the mayor's office. The evidence was damning, and they knew it was their best chance at taking down the corrupt HOA once and for all. As the sun began to set, the doorbell rang, and Lily hurried to answer it. Moments later, she returned, a news crew in tow. "This is it," Nathan said, taking a deep breath. "Time to show the world what the HOA has been hiding." The interview was intense, with the reporters grilling the family on every detail of their investigation. But the Sinclairs held their ground, their resolve unwavering as they presented the evidence they had meticulously gathered. By the time the cameras stopped rolling, the family could feel a shift in the air. The community was rallying behind them, outraged by the HOA's blatant abuse of power and the mayor's complicity in their misdeeds. As the news report aired that evening, the reaction was swift and intense. Phone calls and messages flooded the Sinclair household, with neighbors expressing their support and demanding accountability. But the real fireworks came the next day, when the HOA and the mayor's office were forced to respond to the allegations. In a hastily called press conference, the HOA president and the mayor himself tried to spin the story, but the evidence was too overwhelming to ignore. Amid a flurry of questions and accusations, the HOA president resigned on the spot, and the mayor's political future was suddenly in jeopardy. The community had spoken, and the Sinclairs had won. As the dust settled, Nathan, Emily, and Lily stood on their doorstep, surveying the changed landscape of their neighborhood. The once pristine streets were alive with activity, as neighbors gathered to celebrate their victory and discuss the path forward. Nathan smiled, his arm around Emily's shoulders. "It's over, honey. We did it." Emily returned his smile, her eyes shining with pride. "Yes, we did. And I have a feeling this is just the beginning." Lily chimed in, her voice brimming with excitement. "Just wait until the next HOA election. I've got a few ideas." As the rain began to fall once more, the Sinclair family stepped back inside, secure in the knowledge that they had taken on the powers that be and won. The battle may have been won, but the war was far from over, and the Sinclairs were more than ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.